In August of 2017, the destroyer USS John McCain was involved in a devastating collision with a merchant ship off Singapore. 10 sailors aboard the McCain died in the mishap. Now their families have decided to proceed with legal action, but not against the U.S. Navy.
They say it's to keep the owners of the other ship from evading responsibility. Chris Van Cleve has the story.
It has ripped me from stem to stern.
When Kevin Bushell was laid to rest last fall, it was just the beginning of the pain, sorrow, and anger for his father, Tom.
This horrible tragedy that is totally unnecessary, it killed me.
Last August, the USS McCain lost steering in the Singapore Strait, one of the world's busiest shipping lanes. The Navy destroyer veered into the path of the ALNIC, a tanker ship. The early morning collision killed 10 sailors aboard the McCain, including Kevin.
Oil, chemicals, fuel oil, all in that water. Just holding his breath, it would have started burning. I mean, it would have been torture.
A Navy report placed blame on some of the McCain's crew, saying they weren't aware of their surroundings and failed to properly steer the ship. And an investigation by Singapore's Ministry of Transport pointed out mistakes by the ALNIC. The report called the ALNIC's actions to avoid collision insufficient. Investigators found the ALNIC's bridge, where the ship is controlled, was understaffed at the time of the accident. It also revealed the ALNIC was on autopilot and did not slow down until moments before impact.
They both were at fault.
Rachel Eccles' son Timothy also died on the McCain.
And we need answers from both sides.
Eccles and Bushell learned the owner of the ALNIC is petitioning in federal court to be cleared of all liability or to have its liability limited.
When I first saw the papers, I looked at them and I was kind of dumbfounded. I mean, I didn't even know what I was looking at.
The ALNIC's owner cites a law that predates the Civil War called the Shipowners' Limitation of Liability Act of 1851. Under the law, the ALNIC's potential damages will be capped at $16.7 million. That's the ALNIC's value after the collision.
It was like a second double slap in our face. It was literally like, are you kidding me? You are a part of this tragedy, and you're going to come after us and say, well, this is what, because of a ruling from 1851, this is all that you can do.
It's mind-boggling.
Corey Itkin represents 9 of the McCain victims' families.
Why should ALNIC have any hand in liability here when even the Navy says this was an accident created by mistakes made on the McCain?
The Navy is doing things to make sure this doesn't happen again. But whenever you have an incident like this, there's accountability on both sides.
The victims' families are planning to challenge the shipowner's petition. So is the Navy. But they will need to prove the ALNIC's actions weren't just a sailing error, but also that management was at fault.
Everybody is always surprised to learn about limitation of liability.
Professor Martin Davies is the director of Tulane University's Maritime Law Center. He says the law was originally passed to stimulate the risky business of sea trade.
This kind of litigation is absolutely typical after a major incident such as this. For the past at least 150 years, the whole economic structure of the shipping business has been premised upon limited liability.
The Limitation Act has been used before by shipowners after high-profile accidents like the Titanic and the sinking of the El Faro.
Do you feel like you're getting victimized again by an arcane law?
It's someone trying to use whatever law they can find on the books, whether just or not, to try to eliminate or limit their liability.
The company that owns the ALNIC declined our requests for comment, but is suing the Navy for damages to its ship. We asked the lawyer for the McCain families if they intend to sue the Navy. He told us that many of them are uncomfortable with the idea of suing the institution their family members dedicated their lives to. For CBS This Morning, Chris Van Cleve, Washington.
Just prolonged pain for these families.
Absolutely.
It's so hard to see.
Right, and like they're being victimized again, they said.